Hi guys, I'm Ryan Houston and welcome to my fly tying channel. Your video is about to start shortly. Please take this opportunity to hit the like button down below, leave some comments, tell your friends. Interaction, likes, subscriptions help my channel to grow and help me to keep producing content for yourselves. If you're new to my channel, check out the other videos that I've got. There are over 500 videos at this stage, so there should be something there for everybody. Again, video is about to start. Hit that like button down below. Hi guys, so we're going to tie a lock fly tonight, a dabbler. I'm not 100% sure who invented this, but I think it might have been a Rob Denson pattern, and this is the Redneck Dabbler. So we have a standard wet fly hook in here. This is a B175 and a size 10, and we're going to be using a red thread because the fly also has a red head on it. So take our thread down to the bend, and then we're going to use some red cock hackle fibers as the tail. So I have a feather here and I've sort of snapped it, and then I can separate this out until it creates like a V, and that whenever I tie it in will create a tail for us. So I'm going to tie it in here in this gap that I've created, and then I'm just going to pull it forward, and you can see the tail will start to come together until it just slides off the end of the stalk that's left, and that will create a nice neat tail for us. Trim that off. So for the rib on this fly, we're going to tie in a gold wire. And now we're going to sort of go off piste a little bit here in the order that things are tied in, because I'm going to tie in a throat. So this is a dabbler that has a cloak across the top of it, but it also has slightly shorter fibers on the underside. So I'm going to tie those in now because they're quite difficult to trim when you tie them in at the head. So what we're going to do is tie them in underneath. Tie up to the eye there, and then leave those to sit. So if we fold those back, you can see that they're going to come to around about the bend of the hook. So we trim that stuff off, and then we're going to put in a body of pearl or mirage. Tie that in, slide it back, tie it back to meet, and then come forward. As you can see, I like to start off the wrap anyway with the hook upside down because it helps you to avoid the point. So we're leaving a good bit of room up here because we have to tie in the palmer hackle, we have to tie off the wire, and we have to tie in a red throat hackle as well. So we're leaving a good bit of room up there. Trim that off. And then we're going to look for like a brown or red game type hackle to palmer. So trim off a little bit of the fluff at the base of this feather. Put on the hackle pliers. I'm going to put on a couple of turns to begin with, and then take that back in as many turns as suits yourself for the bushiness of the fly that you want to achieve, but I'm going back in about 3 turns there. And then this is fiddling, how long we lost the turn. Take our wire under that hackle, over it, that's it caught in once we have the pressure put on, and then we can nick that off. Rib the fly, try to sort of wiggle it through the hackle so as not to tie it down, and when it crosses the front, then we want to pull it a little bit tight. It snapped on me there, but it snapped with plenty of length, so don't worry about it. Tie that down so that the wire is pointing forward, and then just hold on to my thread for tension, and then I'm just going to wiggle that back and forward until it snaps. So that is the body palmer done. So now we're going to put on a red throat hackle, collar hackle, whatever you want to call it. I suppose this is where the red neck comes from. So I have a little red cock hackle here. Tie that in. And then again, how red do you want it? So I'm just going to fold the fibres back as we wrap it here, kind of doubling it. And you put on 1 or 2 turns probably. Tie over, fold it back, and here I'm going to take the mallard that we had from underneath, so I'm going to slide it all back between my finger and thumb here. And then trim this off. So as you can see, that means we already have the sort of underneath cloak part on without having to try and trim it in there where the down eye would be, because that is quite difficult. It tends to leave bits that block the eye. So now we're going to take our bronze mallard feather. I'm going to take the first portion off it, strip it off and set it down, and then I'm going to take the other half of the feather. I'm just straightening up the edges of it here and then rip it off. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay those two on top of each other. So one top of the other, and then we're going to put that on. So I'm going to take this down to around about the length of the tail. So I'll set it up for length, and then I'm coming down from above it with my finger and thumb, and I'm sort of pinching it so that it folds over like you were doing a wing. Get the thread all around and then start to tighten down onto it. Now how heavily dressed or otherwise you like your dabblers is up to yourself. If you don't want them just as dense, you could have went with 1 thickness there. And then we need to trim this. So you notice I did that a few fibres at a time rather than trying to cut the whole lot of it in one go. Because if you pull it all up into one bunch and cut it, then some bits will be shorter, some bits will be longer, and it won't be as neat. So now I'm going to take a little bit of super glue and run it on 1 inch or so of my thread, hold my wing back, and then tie over those cut ends. As you can see, it's creating that sort of bleb of glue which I'm wrapping into, and that'll give me a nice, neat, secure head. While it's wet, then I'm pulling down my hitches into it. You can use a whip finisher if that's what you're used to. and that is our fly tied. I'm just going to varnish the head with a clear varnish. And that all around, and then take a remnant of a hackle pass it up through, or the bit of wire would also do that, and there we have the Redneck Dabbler. So hopefully you like what you see. If you did, give us a like, subscribe, tell your friends, check out the other videos on the channel, and until next time, tight lines, and thanks for watching.